Eastern Cape Cooperative Governance MEC, demanding answers on that 15 million rand used to build a stadium. That stadium being described this morning as a fenced-off piece of gravel. So our reporter Sipha Kema joins us now live from that very stadium there in Komani. And this is the big question this morning, Sipha, that our viewers are asking. The photographs that we've seen so far online in some of the newspapers this morning, is there much different that you see on the ground there?
Well, Michelle, unfortunately, there isn't much. I mean, I would say the photographs themselves actually look a lot better than what we are seeing currently. I mean, we're going to take you through just to show you what exactly that it is that we are seeing here at this 15 million, or is it a 20 million rands field? That is, of course, according to the website, the contractor's website that we recently saw yesterday, screenshots of the initial amount and also screenshots of the amount that was, typed into the website by the contractors. But now let's just take you through, Michelle, of course, this sports field and see if was it really worth 15 million rands or 22 million rands. Now, of course, we know that the municipality yesterday tried to, rectify the mistake that they made on Monday, on the 4th of October, by loading those pictures and, of course, celebrating the launch of this stadium, sports ground or field, rather. Of course, now, as you can see, they were talking about the palisades sitting around, fencing around this stadium, which is 780 meters, Michelle. Now, according to the costs that we, the quotations that we tried to get, is that a palisade, which is the average one, which is the one that is used currently here, for 1.8 meters, it costs 1,000 rand. So that's basically just over 780,000 rand that was used here for the palisade. It's not even a million yet. Now, we also look at the water catchment tanks that they were referring to, which, of course, are the average size JoJo tanks that you would find, close to any other household which is in this area and any other area, of course, trying to catch rainwater. And normally those ones, which is 2.5 liters, 2,500 liters, those ones normally go for 2,500. Now, there's two of them that we've identified, and there's a smaller one that we've identified inside, close to the security booth. Now, looking at the sports ground, currently, Michelle, I am standing on the soccer and rugby sports field that they said was constructed, laid over. But what I'm seeing here, Michelle, this right here, this is proper nursery ground, just normal ground, not even, of course, enough grass, or even you would say artificial grass has been planted here. And also looking at the poles. The poles already have, started to fall apart. Now, they did say it's a soccer and rugby field, but the poles that are standing currently are those of a soccer field. The rugby poles have already fallen over. As you would know that the construction of this stadium started in 2019, which was later stopped over issues of environmental affairs, and then it restarted again in March 2020. Now, I'm going to also take you, Michelle, to the grandstands, as they've said. Those are the two stands here. I don't know if they do qualify to being called a stadium. However, I can clearly see that it won't have, a lot of spectators coming in, all right? And we also, Michelle, there's the ablution facilities, changing rooms, those two blocks that they were talking about. Now, if you look at those ones, those are your average size of any ablution facilities or changing rooms that you would find in the township sports ground.
I mean, Sipha, I'm just trying to do the math here from what you've described. So around, shall we say, 800,000 for the palisade fencing. I'm trying to work out those grandstands that you've shown us there. How many people do you reckon could be seated there? I reckon about 60 to 80 people could be seated in the stands that have been erected there.
60 to 80 people.
Yeah. The goalposts, you said it's a rugby and soccer field.
People. I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Correct. And I mean, Michelle, as I mentioned, they were telling us about the construction of the actual laying of the field. But from what we can see, nothing has been laid down. Yes, maybe ground clearing, vegetation clearing, that could have been the cost, but nothing has been laid. This is just your natural, normal grass, as we've mentioned. Now, also remember, Michelle, they also said installing, digging boreholes and, of course, installing running water, septic tank. Now, a borehole, Michelle, on average, it costs, depending on the depth, costs between 60,000 and 100,000. Now, you know, when we got here first, we were looking for the sporting stadium and we couldn't find it. We drove past it, actually, and that's when we were told by the community members that actually, no, you've just passed it. It actually is back there. If you turn around, just look at the grey stands, you'll see the stadium. So we came back, and I must say the community is disappointed. Now, someone that we'd like to talk to is the ward councillor. This is Ward 18 of the Lukanji local municipality. We're going to talk to the ward councillor and tell us exactly what happened here. I mean, Michelle, there's a lot of discrepancies that come with this, project. I mean, starting from the initial amount, where we were told 15 million rands, but then according to the contractor's website, it actually said 22 million rands. So that's where we also first need to start finding out what is the true amount and the cost of this stadium. Now, let's talk to the councillor here, the local councillor. I mean, Tata, uyabona apha sesilapha kule libala lenu le-15 million. Undixelele iqale ngo-2019 le project. Kwathini, Tata?
Project iqalile ngo-2019 August September if andiphazami, yastopa ngoNovember, yadi-establishwa isite because of bekunga-issuishwanga i-certificate kwa-environmental affairs, EMIA. Ibuyile March 2020 and saba happy xa iphinde project ibuya. I-project was allocated u-22.7 million. Yes, ngenxa yesimo sikamasipala sezimali yakhathwa to 15 million. Lena ke isebenze apha. Yes, nam ke being i-representative ye-community kwamasipala ndithatha i-52D report ndixelele into yokubana ngoku sizaba nee-features esingazi ukuzifaka kule facility. Yes, umzekelo la netball pitch ayikho. But umasipala uyicacisile into yokubana baza ezixesha lihamba. Isizathu sobana ibe inikezelwe kwayona ifacility ibiseyivandalizeka nangokuba ngaba niyajonga phaya ibisezaba yi-crime haven. Abantwana bayisebenzisele for ulwaphulomthetho. So ivuliwe ke ngoku ngeso sizathu.
Kodwa ke tata bakhe sijonge ezi zinto bezilistiwe phaya ku-Facebook by umasipala esixelela uba zintoni izinto zenziweyo. Ngokokujonga nokukhangeleka bekusithiwa kukho i-electric fencing, asikayiboni, ayikho i-electric fencing apha. Uyayibona? Sibona nje ii-palisades apha.
Hayi, andiyazi ke noba iphazamiseke phi ngoba nam bendiyibonile laa nto ayinayo into mhlawumbi kungaboni ke kum, ayinayo into eno-electric fencing. Yile palisade fencing neyayizinto izoprezentwa kwi-community kumasipala. Eyokugqibela, ndingakhe ndibeshe nam ndingabi nawo ulwazi ncakasana lento ukubana imali ethile yathini. Hayi, ayikho kum leyo. Ingakhe loo nto iphendulwe mhlawumbi zii-service providers ne-ofisi ka-municipal manager. Mna nje I was just happy into yobana sibe siphumile kula mabala besikade sihlala kuwo mabi.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Tata Ndiyabulela. Of course, that's the ward councillor. This is Ward 18 of Enoch Mgijima local municipality in Komani. Of course, taking us through what he knows as the local municipality had occurred and what was supposed to happen. That initially it was 22.7 million rands, but then it was lowered to 15 million. I guess, Michelle, another question that we have to pose here is that, why is there inconsistencies between the municipality's amount and the contractor's amount? Could it be that the money was paid? Could it be it was not paid? Those are other questions that we're going to pose to the municipal manager when we get an opportunity to speak to her. We do have, of course, in the next crossing an appointment to speak with her. But for now, it's back to you in studio.
Well, before we let you go, Sipha, I want to also ask you about the ribbon cutting. Apparently there was some sort of issue with the unveiling and the official ribbon cutting event. What was that was used as the ribbon there?
Well, Michelle, of course, if you say ribbon cutting event, you'd be expecting a ribbon and the material that is used, of course. But it seemed as though it was, the warning tape, rather, that was used to cut and open the stadium during the launch of the stadium.
Sipha Kema, the bad news just keeps on coming with the story insofar as the stadium is concerned. She's live to us there in Komani as we continue to track that developing story for you. We're told that the MEC, the COCTA MEC, will be visiting the area. There's also a report that's now been put together on the spending of that 15 million rand, the Opposition Democratic Alliance, saying that it's going to be doing its own site visit to determine exactly how that money was spent.